Hello and welcome to the Trumped Up Podcast. I am your host, Keith Rao. This is Season 3, Episode 2, 2020 Election. Yeah, we're really getting into it now. Good old sleepy, creepy Joe Biden has finally released his VP pick, and it was Kamala Harris. Make sure you pronounce it Kamala, or you will trigger the left. Kamala Harris. All right. So, immediately, the fake news media decided, we have to spin this as she's the pragmatic, moderate, the middle-of-the-road candidate. But in reality, this woman is the most liberal voting senator in the United States Senate, and her record proves this. She's far more left than any other candidate in the Democrats' side of the Senate, but is what it is with her. And, we're supposed to be not picking people for jobs and things in life and giving preferences to people based on race and gender and identity politics. But apparently, it's okay to do these things because Joe Biden picked Kamala Harris simply because she's a black woman. And a lot of the left probably would have sent him packing if he didn't pick a woman of color. But we'll see in about a week or two when new polls come out if that gave him a bump or if it actually made him go down, which I'm thinking it's probably going to make him go down more, but that's just me personally. So a U.S. helped broker a deal between Israel and the United Arab Emirates, the UAE, for a peace deal. This is apparently a really good deal because even the left-wing fake news media was giving it praise, and former Obama people were giving it praise, and a lot of the fake news media isn't even covering it, which, they don't want to give Trump any wins and make him look good in an election year or do anything to help him get reelected. But the problem with that is they got to cover it somewhat because Joe Biden tried to take credit for the damn thing and he had nothing to do with it. Well, he didn't. He said him and Obama and several other past administrations were working on this, but I really don't think so. Which takes us to, if you go back a few months and people were freaking out because Trump was going to take troops out of Syria and Iraq and Afghanistan and bring them home, and now it's other countries that are actually our allies that we're going to bring troops home from, which is a good thing because we're not the world's police and we're never going to be the world's police, and we shouldn't be the world's police because when we butt in other people's business, the world gets chaotic. Because if you haven't noticed right now, in that area in the Middle East, in the Far East, and in that region of the Middle East, not the Far East, that would be China, but the Middle East, it's pretty peaceful. I mean, there are still things going on, but it's probably the most peaceful I've seen it in decades over there in the Middle East. And you think with these deals that Trump's making, helping broker in the Middle East and our added support for Israel, that Donald Trump would actually have won the Nobel Peace Prize like Obama, which I don't know what the hell he won it for in the first place, but Trump's actually creating policies and brokering deals that actually are bringing peace to the world. It's one of the most peaceful times. I can't believe they should emphasize that more in the campaign. Personally, I think they should. And how they took out the caliphate and they took out world-leading terrorists and made the world just a generally safer place and showed these other countries that, hey, we're the boss of the world and, yeah, we don't want to be in your business, but if you screw with us, we're going to do what we have to do. But no, it seems all the violence in the world right now is in the streets of America, sadly. Got generally peaceful protests that other organized groups that are being financed by left-wing organizations are actually causing these people to go in and take over these protests and loot and riot and just cause chaos in the streets. I mean, it's been going on for 80 days in Portland. If that's not a failure of leadership, I don't know what is, but you people out there in Portland and Seattle and LA, you guys need to really think before you go out and vote, because you keep voting for Democrats and you keep getting the same craziness and the problems never get solved. I mean, take the DACA issue it's been on the table for years. Immigration reform, we always need immigration reform, comprehensive, but nobody's doing anything. They use it as an issue, just like healthcare. Okay, in Obamacare, they did something, and they would have been better off if they didn't, because that was a horrible disaster, and it's pretty much being dismantled thanks to our great president and the things going on in the White House. But they continuously campaign on these issues. They always want the issue, but then they get the power and they get in the office and they don't do anything with it to fix the issue. And then we get to a point where we're at, we needed to pass a stimulus, but let's run out the door and we'll say they blocked it. But Trump got them, dude, because he keeps doing press conferences every day. He put it straight out there. Hey, we would do this, but the Democrats are blocking it. Hey, we would do this, but the Democrats left town. Hey, we would do this, but these Democrats. So I think that's totally going to backfire on them and blow up in their face. So we're going to take a quick break right here and get a message from our sponsor. We'll be right back with the Trumped Up Podcast. Hey, you too can join the podcasting world and be one of the greatest podcasters out there. Build an audience, get sponsorships, earn money, and do many, many interesting things. You can also get listener support to help sponsor your show, all by using Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to become a podcaster. Anyone can do it. If you got something to say, or someone thinks you got something to say, or you just want to say something, come and join Anchor and join the podcasting revolution. Welcome back to the Trumped Up Podcast, Season 3, Episode 2, Election 2020. Yeah, we're about roughly 80 days out from the election, and it's getting really good. See, you got Kamala and you got Biden, and so far they've done 2 public events, but they're running out of the room and they never answer any questions, which is ridiculous. I mean, now we had Biden hiding, now we got Kamala and Biden who are hiding. While Trump's out there doing a press conference every day, answers 20, 30 questions, 2, 3, 4 from the same people sometimes. Even the dumb ones, like the guy in the press conference the other day that blatantly asked him, "Do you regret lying to the American people?" To the point, Trump just ignored him and moved on to the next person. It's kind of hilarious. I like watching these things because it's just comical sometimes. It's like comedy hour at the White House. It's a trip. But comedy's been canceled. Unless you're going to make jokes about, I don't know, because everything is offensive, so can't even make jokes about the weather because some poor farmer in Iowa might be upset after what just happened with the derecho, which I didn't know what this was or what that meant, so I had to look it up. But now I got educated more on the weather, and that's cool with me. So we got in this week's deep state news, the Durham probe has finally led to a former FBI lawyer by the name of Kevin Kleinsmith pleading guilty to making a false statement, which tells me he's just the first of the dominoes, and he's the guy that's going to rat out all these other people. and then more dominoes are going to fall. It's going to go all the way to the top of the 7th floor. But these people like James Comey and Andrew McCabe and Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, they'll probably all walk scot-free and live in their cushy book deals and TV deals and whatever else they're doing with their lives now. So then you got Joe Biden with the national mask mandate plan he has for 3 months, where if you go, not if you go in public or you can't social distance, but literally if you walk out your door and you're like outside, put a mask on. That's Joe Biden's policy. But Trump made a good point. Most states already have their own mask mandates and are doing what they need to do and what they think they need to do. Whether it's effective or not, no one really knows or will ever know. They'll just make hypotheses and educated guesses because that's what they do. Just like your auto mechanic. Oh, your car is doing this. Well, maybe it's this, or it could be this. Yeah, and then $3,000 later, maybe you'll figure it out. But yeah, so Trump points out to the fact that, okay, you make this national, and then you're going to have federal police officers. What? You're going to have ICE agents go around the country for outrageous amounts of money and to enforce people wearing masks. This is highly unlikely to ever happen. So, some other news we have. The U.S. seized 4 Iranian oil tankers on their way to Venezuela, which was a violation of oil embargo we have. But now they're being brought to Houston, and we're going to confiscate the oil, and some reporter asked Trump about that, and he said we're just going to take it to Houston, and he didn't really say what we're going to do with it. But we're sure as hell not going to give it back to Iran. That would be dumb. That'd be like the Obama deal, giving them $1.5 billion and whatever else they got in that deal. That's an epic failure. Which is going to take me back to the violence in the streets and crime going up in America. This poor 5-year-old kid, Connor, I think it's Henant, was cold-blooded murdered when he was riding his bike around and actually went into like the neighbor's driveway. Some psychopath just shoots the 5-year-old kid. You know, the mainstream media is really not covering that. Yeah, you see something about it on Fox and a few other places, but the media doesn't cover it because it's not a black man being killed by the cops. I'm sorry. You can say I'm racist for saying that's not true, but they don't cover those stories any more than they cover the stories of 5 and 6 and 7-year-olds being shot in the streets of Chicago playing in their yard, because those stories don't fit their narrative and they never will. And it might wake up America when they start seeing these things, but like I say all the time, that the media is more and more irrelevant because the internet has totally changed the world. And we get our information fast and furious in a whole different way. And the news cycle never really stops. So this Sunday, we have August 16th, we have the Democratic Convention. The next Sunday is the Republican Convention, and make sure you tune in for that AOC 1-minute speech she's going to get to give. But I think I'll pass and just follow up on the highlights, because everything she says is a highlight, but not in a good way. So we'd love to have you as a guest on the Trumped Up Podcast. You can email us at trumpeduppodcast@yahoo.com, or on the Trumped Up Podcast, you can click the send us a voice message link. Love your support. And thanks for tuning in. Remember, the Trumped Up Podcast is available across all social media platforms and across a wide variety of podcasting platforms. Pretty much all major podcasting platforms. It's been a pleasure, and tune in next time for another interesting episode of the Trumped Up Podcast. I'm Keith Rao, and I am out.